If there's one thing that's not great, it's a meal without seasoning. A meal without salt. Because salt makes a difference, in just the right amount, of course. And Jesus used salt to convey a profound lesson to us. That's what we're going to learn about today. And if you stay until the end of this video, listening carefully to this message, you will surely be enlightened and blessed by our God. If you're new around here, welcome, feel comfortable, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell because every other day, there's a new message here for you to nourish and learn from the genuine and true gospel, as it truly is. A teaching that's been lacking in many places, in many churches, which is the teaching of truth. But on this channel, we have a commitment to the truth. And that's what we're going to learn today. Look at what Jesus Christ said in Matthew 5, verse 13, he said, "You are the salt of the earth." Jesus was speaking to his disciples, and he continues by saying, "But if the salt loses its flavor, how can it be made salty again? It is no longer good for anything, except to be thrown out and trampled underfoot by men." Notice how Jesus compared the disciples to salt. What is salt used for? To add flavor. In other words, salt is used to make a difference. It's clear, it's evident when we have a meal without salt and when we have a meal with salt. The difference is huge. There's nothing better than a well-seasoned meal. If you've ever forgotten to add salt to the rice when you were eating, you noticed it right away. And that's exactly what Jesus wants to teach us, that we need to make a difference. And where do we need to make a difference? In everything. We need to make a difference when we are at our work. And how can we make a difference? By showing that we are people with principles. By showing that we do not behave in the same way the world behaves. By showing that our way of acting, speaking, and thinking is not the same as this world, but it's different. Because that's what we were called to do, make a difference, my brother. You were called to make a difference. And that's what you need to understand, because if you don't understand this, you will continue acting like a worldly person. You will continue acting like people who have no knowledge, who do everything wrong and do not influence anyone in anything positive. Only in the negative. I'm sure you know people who only influence others negatively. They influence them to think negatively, to think small, to think wrongly, to do wrong things, to go down wrong paths. It's much easier for someone to invite you out for a drink than to invite you to pray. It's much easier for someone to ask you to go to a party than to invite you to a worship service. To worship God, it's much easier. But, my brother, we need to make a difference, no matter where we are. We must be the ones who others look at and say, "Hey, look, there's the unique one, yeah, the unique one, but he's fulfilling his calling." We all have the calling to make a difference. And when you make a difference, you influence. Notice that a person who doesn't make a difference has no influence. They don't have moral authority. Why? Because they're just one more in the crowd. They're not someone who stands out. But when you make a difference, when you show that you have principles, when you show that you won't just follow along with everyone else, it's like in entrepreneurship. You see everyone doing the same thing, and you go and do exactly the same. No, my brother. You have to do what no one else is doing. You have to make a difference. Wait, everyone's going in the same direction. I'm going to make a difference. If I go the same way as them, I have to stand out, I have to do better. If not, I go the other way. Why? Because everyone's going the wrong way, but that's where I'll stand out. That's where I'll make a difference. I'll do what nobody has thought of yet. When you're at home, my brother, you need to make a difference. Have you seen people who, when they get home, treat their family horribly? Don't respect the wife, don't respect the husband, don't respect parents, don't respect children, treat them horribly, but when they're in a group of friends, they treat everyone in the best way. That person is not the salt of the earth. And Jesus said that when salt loses its flavor, meaning it stops making a difference, you no longer notice the salt there, people no longer notice that there's a Christian in that company, people no longer realize there's a Christian in that home. Why? Because they don't make a difference, they do everything like everyone else. What happens? They're no longer good for anything, only fit to be thrown out and trampled underfoot by men. Jesus said that when salt loses its flavor, it's only good to be trampled underfoot by men. There are many people being trampled in their work, in their home, among their circle of friends, in everything they do. They're trampled by everything, by hardships, by people, by obstacles. And why does this happen? Because there's someone who no longer makes a difference. There's someone who has lost their flavor. When you have flavor, my brother, when you make a difference, when you truly are the salt of the earth, you influence people's lives. People look at you and say, "This one is different. This woman here is a woman of faith." People see that you're unshakable, that you don't stop, that you don't get discouraged, that you don't give up. People know that there exists someone different. But if you think like everyone else, if you do what everyone is doing, if you go the same way, the same path as everyone else, "Oh, but I'm the only one who won't, but I'm the only one not doing it, everyone's doing it." No, my brother, but you're not everyone, you are the salt of the earth. Receive this in your life. I was called to make a difference, I was called to be the salt of the earth. You cannot be influenced by people, you must influence them. And influence how? In the right way. When salt loses its flavor, it's thrown away, it's trampled on, how can it be restored? And maybe you are salt that was losing its flavor, that was losing it because you were no longer making a difference, but from today, my friend, you will make a difference. People at your work will see you stand out, within your family, they will value you, they will respect you because you will make a difference. It doesn't matter if in your neighbor's house, in your friend's house it's chaotic, the family doesn't respect each other, everyone is for themselves. In your house, it won't be like that. You will have a united family, you will have a family of principles, you will set an example for everyone. Why? Because you want to appear that way? No. But because you will indeed be the salt of the earth. When you are the salt of the earth, you add flavor, you make a difference. You influence people's lives. This is a calling we all have. To make a difference. It's when you go there and help someone in need, you make a difference. It's when you give the right advice, at the right time, to the right person, you make a difference. It's when you lend a hand to someone in need. It's when you guide someone who is lost. It's when you make an effort alongside someone who needs strength. My brother, you make a difference. You utter words of faith, positive words, words of support, words that will lift someone up. You're making a difference. It's when you treat your child in the best possible way, teaching, correcting, paying attention, giving love, unlike many parents who don't care about their children, who leave their children abandoned. You are making a difference in your child's life. It's when you treat your wife as truly the most important woman in your life. You love, you respect, you give affection, you pay attention, you talk, you have dialogue. You are truly making a difference. It's when the wife does the same thing in kind. You are truly making a difference. When you make a difference, you truly become the salt of the earth. You change lives. You influence, you impact the lives of people. Now, my brother, when you pass through this earth and leave no legacy, when you pass through this earth and you don't influence anything in people's lives, you were salt without flavor. And often, this is the reason you spend your whole life struggling, and not winning anything. Because you're not making a difference, you're being trampled on. Trampled by life, trampled by problems, trampled at your work, in your home. Make a difference. Do what nobody else does. If nobody you know values, loves, shows respect for their family, you do differently. You be different. And you will soon influence that acquaintance, that relative who had a chaotic home, a family completely neglected, each to their own. It became a united family. Why? Because they were inspired by you. Not because they envied you, but because they were influenced by you. When that guy at your work says he's going to cheat on his wife and you show him how faithful you are, how much you love your wife, you influence his life, you make him rethink his actions. And then, my brother, you start to make a difference in people's lives. Being the salt of the earth is making a difference in people's lives. Look at Judas Iscariot. Did he make a difference? He did not. He was not the salt of the earth. He was the tasteless salt. He was the salt that was trampled on, lost. Now look at Peter. Peter in his first sermon influenced 3,000 people, brought more than 3,000 people to repentance. Look at who the Apostle Paul was, look at who St. John the Apostle was. These are people and examples of who made a difference and who did not. You were called to be the salt of the earth. You were called to make a difference. So, my brother, embrace your calling and make a difference, for not only will your life be a blessing, but you will influence the lives of others. We are in the generation of influencers, right? But in truth, my brother, the real influencer is the salt of the earth. But you cannot lose your flavor, you cannot give in to them, to the world. No, you must make a difference according to what Christ taught us. This is the true influencer who will change lives. Who will impact the lives of many people, who will leave a legacy on this earth. You will be the person who will make a difference, who will be the salt of the earth and who will make a difference. My brother, if you've come this far, now all you have to do is apply this message in your life. See if really, think about it, am I making a difference or am I just like everyone else? Am I fulfilling what Christ called me to do? Or am I just another one in the crowd? Think, reflect, apply, and make a difference. You can be sure that you will have a blessed life by fulfilling and obeying the word of the Lord, and you will influence in the right way, the correct way, the lives of many people. Because do not be mistaken, people are always watching you. All the time people are observing your actions, your way of speaking, thinking, behaving, and you could be influencing many people wrongly without realizing it. So, do not do that anymore. Influence in the correct way, in the way that Christ taught, and be assured that you and your house and your work and everyone around you will be reached by this blessing. May you be blessed and enlightened, and if you haven't yet liked this video, leave a like, share this video in your family group, share it with your friends, send this channel to people so that they can also learn as you have, and more people come to make a difference, for we need it. As each day passes the world is getting worse, but those who are the salt of the earth will not give up, they will not stop making a difference. May God bless you.